So, hello everyone. Quick overview of what we're going to go over here. We'll do a round of intros, a little bit of a survey. Then we'll dive into what is the problem we're trying to solve here. What are real world pains before we talk about the solution, which is AI, autonomous AI. Why do we even need this, right? What problem is it solving? Then we'll slightly cover what is autonomous IT. How is this different from just being LLMs, ChatGPT that we all know, but not only. And then we'll quickly dive into a demo of some of the issues that we see with thousands of our clients every day and how our AI is solving them autonomously, so meaning hands off. And we'll leave some time for Q&A in the end. Quick intro. I have Kim Abraham with us, a customer success manager.
Yep, exactly. I'm Kim, and I'll be working behind the scenes today, primarily focusing on answering your questions in the Q&A section. So you'll excuse me as I'll mostly have my camera off so I can deeply concentrate, but I will be here.
Great. And my name is Sergey. I've been working in AI for about 3 years now. I started in an LLM lab here in Israel, and for the last year, I've been leading development of Atera's AI initiatives. By the way, at all points, feel free to chat and ask questions in the Q&A. We'll have time later, but maybe if something comes up which is relevant, we'll answer it as we go. So just fire away.
Okay, so first, before we dive in today, let's quickly cover some housekeeping topics. So you'll be happy to know that a recording of this session will be sent to you in the days following the webinar. So if you need to step out or want to rewatch anything, you'll have full access. Second, like Sergey said, we really want to make sure the session is as interactive as possible. So please feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar using the Q&A section, not in the chat section. I'll do my best to answer them in real time. If for any reason we can't get to your question during this session, please be patient, no worries. I'll make sure to follow up with you directly afterwards. And then, like we said, if time permits, we can also answer some questions today. And then third, at the end of the webinar, I'll share a short survey. We use your feedback to customize our webinars to better suit your needs, so please do take a moment for that. And then just as a side note, in the chat, I've pinned a link to additional resources that I thought might be helpful. So when you get a moment, you can check out those links.
Cool. Thank you, Kim. All right.
Okay. Great. Actually, let's start off with a poll before we get things started. I'm going to share our first poll question. So you can go to the poll tab and see those questions, and please do answer them. The question, which of these challenges eats up the most time in your IT team today?
Yeah, it's hard to choose, right?
I see some people are answering them, answering the questions. All right, I'm going to close this one and we'll share the answers. I hope that was enough time. I think actually my share button isn't working. So anyway, we will take a look at those answers when we can. And then I had one more question that I will share. So how would you describe your current approach to using AI in IT operations? This is really helpful for us to understand what you're doing, where you're at. I'll give it another minute to answer that, or another few seconds rather. Shouldn't take long. Okay. I'll close that poll. Oops, oh, sorry, excuse me. Meant to close it. Okay.
Will we be able to see the results now, or maybe later, Kim?
Yeah, maybe later. My button actually to share is not working right now, so
Technology,
apologies
right?
for that. Technology. We're an IT company, but I think all of you understand that sometimes technology doesn't quite work with us. That's fine. This is an audience that understands that. That's how we are in business.
Absolutely. All right, great. So we ask these questions for a reason, because they are the two sides of today's session. The issues IT professionals like yourselves face every day. And I know everyone has this feeling of, we've been hearing about AI for a while now. Some of us have been using it, some of us in daily life, some of us just ask a question. We use sometimes maybe ChatGPT as if we would use Google, just a factual question, right? Like, what year was Mount Rushmore, made, the statues? I could Google that. I could also ask ChatGPT. Some of us have more advanced uses, maybe some kind of agentic workflow where it does some things that we prescribed it to do. But sometimes it feels like, at least for me, it feels like I have this FOMO, like fear of missing out. I feel like there should be more to it, and I should be getting more from it that I am, because the promise is huge, but in the day-to-day use, for most people that I talk to, they haven't yet seen that promise fulfilled. So just a sanity check, right? I've been working in AI for over 3 years, and it feels like it's just getting faster and faster. Just sharing the chat, how many major AI releases do you feel happened since the beginning of 2025? I mean, like major model releases, not an API update. Just throw a number. What do you think? 3, Zachary? Yeah, 5. That sounds reasonable. Mike with the 20, okay. So I'll just quickly run through this, because I'm going to show you things that happened 6 months ago, and it feels like they happened 5 years ago, right? Remember DeepSeek R1, that Chinese model that had everyone going crazy about how smart it is? Then we had the Stargate project, a huge project that should, like a 500 billion project that Trump announced. O3 Mini, Deep Research, Gemini 2, Grok 3, right? Feels like a million years ago, happened in February. Claude 3.7, Ancient News, GPT 4.5. Since they released 4.5, they also shuttered it because it wasn't a very successful model. I'll just keep running. O3, my model of choice for everyday tasks. It's been here like for a few months only. Claude 4, Grok 4, just like a few days ago, some of you might know. And very, very soon, could be next week, definitely by the end of next month, ChatGPT 5 is going to roll out, which, as any big release, is supposed to be this game changer. So I think I counted 15 or 14, which is insane, because I've been around long enough, and I've seen, we've all seen technological revolutions. We've seen the cloud revolution. We've seen the mobile takeover. It's never moved that fast, and it has never been so difficult to track. If you are building a project, let's say you got some budget from your CEO, let's do AI. Let's make AI. Let's use AI to make us 20% more productive, right? Makes sense. If you started that project in January this year, you could have started it like 5 or 10 times using different LLMs and threw it all away and restarted again. If you started it with GPT 4.5, you might want to switch to O3, which is a reasoning model. If you went for an open source model like Llama, maybe tomorrow you want to be amazed by the capability of ChatGPT 5. So AI is moving at a never before seen pace. And it's super hard, and it's hard for us as AI professionals. It's definitely hard for everyone else to keep track. But after all is said and done, there's a huge benefit to AI, and there's a huge, let's say, resource devoted to it. So some interesting numbers: about 40% of the money planned, of the spend meant for AI, goes from IT. That's for me, it was surprising to hear. I knew it was going to be large, but not as large as this. Obviously, other channels also, but we talk about IT AI a lot, but we don't see a lot of actual solutions. okay, but why do we even need this, right? Like, what's the problem? I think, if you've worked in IT for a while, you know the problem. Response times are not where we would like them to be. We would like to be giving better service to our customers, to our clients, to our employees, to our end users. If you're an MSP, if you're in the IT department, we want to resolve faster. We want to answer faster, and these numbers are based on benchmarks from 2023 from JITBIT, but from analyzing Atera's information. Atera has about 13,000 customers around the globe, so we have lots of data. It varies a lot. But the base median numbers are around this. So what if we could cut this by 20%? Imagine the benefits to the IT team, but also imagine the benefit to the organization, right? If someone from marketing could get 20% less time waiting for a response to work on that slide deck, or someone from engineering didn't have to stop their work because their computer is down, the compound effect is immense. So we asked this question in the poll before. These are the numbers we have from research that we've done. How much time do you spend on manual tasks that could be automated? So we're not trying, as we talk about AI, sometimes it comes up like, will AI replace us? Maybe someday. I don't know the future. For now, it's not near close enough to being as good to replace a human, but it can take some load off your hands. It can take massive load, and exactly the type of things that you might want to not do, like manual repetitive tasks, your password resets, your printer setups, you're answering the same question over and over again that they should just look up in the knowledge base, but they never do. Software permissions, approvals, stuff which, let's be honest, this is not why we all went into tech. By the way, I didn't mention my background is also in IT. About 20 years ago, when I was starting out, I was setting up servers, Active Directories, pulling wires. So I know why I wanted to do it, because I love tech and I love solving difficult problems. But at the end of the day, how much time of your day is actually spent on the stuff that you were excited about when you were starting out? Less than we would like. No one's going to have like 100% perfect work with zero uninteresting problems, but we think this is exactly where AI can help these types of problems. So when you talk about real world IT pain points, this covers also what it looks like from the side of the employee, right? If it takes 7 or 8 hours to take an average response, again, this is across many industries, many different companies. It could be lower with you, it could be even higher. I know that I have horror stories from my wife who works at a bank, and she couldn't go on Zoom, so after 8 hours, they got back to her and told her that it's not very prioritized. It'll be handled by the next week. And she does client meetings. Repetitive tasks that we mentioned, password resets, manual work, file access. I need to map a drive. So it feels like it should be better by now, right? It feels like we shouldn't be doing the same things in the same way we've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. Yeah, some tools have gotten better, absolutely. But the main interaction point between user, like employee, and IT is still painful for both sides, let's say like that. So what is autonomous IT? Okay, so a super quick crash course in what an LLM is versus an agentic LLM-powered machine system, sorry. An LLM is a language model. So it inputs text and it outputs text. At the end of the day, that's all it is. You chat with it and it chats back. It can give you the smartest answers anyone has ever said, but it's still just text. It's an engine that some would say similar to a human brain, but that's a contentious point. It's more of a philosophical point, but it takes in information and using its base training, what it was trained on, billions and billions of documents and text files, it answers what would be reasonable. You could say that in another, in an alternate way to explain this, if you had a human with infinite memory and you let it read all the text on the internet, and it could only talk, that's what an LLM would be. Okay, great. But that doesn't solve all our problems, right? It's great if you have a question to ask. It's awesome if you wanna research something. Today it can search the internet. Back a couple of years ago, it couldn't. It can be a helpful thinking partner. Sometimes I use it, as a product manager to kind of brainstorm ideas and have it critique my product plans and see flaws I didn't think of. It's amazing. Like 5 years ago, no one would even believe we have this. And yet, it's not autonomous and it's not an agentic. What is autonomous and what is agentic? So this is one example. LLM is a brain, and the autonomous system, the agent, is a brain, but it also has arms and it can do things. Right? At the end of the day, as simple as I can put it, an autonomous agent is an AI system that can affect the world around it, meaning not just with text. Another example I can give is an LLM would give you a recipe, an agent would cook you the meal. Okay, so or more eloquently, as we put it here, the application of agentic AI within the IT domain. Up till now, I was talking about in general what autonomous AI is, but if we take this into the IT domain, it can do IT stuff. So it's not a chef, but it can be helpful to an IT technician. It can maybe resolve IT issues without requiring any human interaction. So why autonomous IT? Several reasons. Before, I mentioned that I don't see a danger of AI replacing people. It's just because most companies can't even fill the current jobs, the current openings they have for IT people. It's hard to find good IT people who are smart and they're diligent and they want to work with people and do service stuff, and they keep up with the technology and work as a team. It's not as simple as. Also, we're all growing. Companies are growing, and it's hard to find IT people. So it feels like there's this hole here that AI is well positioned to fill. Annual downtime costs can be in the tens of millions, right? And like I mentioned before, it affects not only the well-being of the IT team, also the actual employees, right? When there's a downtime, bam, it's millions of dollars lost just because some Active Directory server went down and the replication didn't work and no one can log in, and it can take you 4 hours to fix. But not only that, maybe they need to print something and they don't know how to set up the printer, and it's past 7 o'clock and no one's there to answer them, or someone got locked out because they mashed the keyboard and didn't enter their password correctly, and now someone needs to reset their password, and bam, they were supposed to work on some big presentation overnight and they can't do it now. Gone. So we feel very strongly that there's a place for autonomous IT, for agentic AI that can solve IT problems. And this is our solution. We actually have two solutions. By the way, this is not a sales pitch. I'm just talking about what we're doing. I'm going to show you a demo of some of our solutions. Atera has built the AI Copilot, which has been around for about a year now. This is your helping hand for technicians. This is your buddy. It doesn't try to figure out what you're thinking. It's good at following instructions. You can ask it questions, but you're in the driver wheel. It's like a personal ChatGPT that can also, it can take action, but you're in the driver's seat. But what we want to talk about, focus today, is the Autopilot. So the Autopilot is, imagine it as a junior help desk agent that can do some of the stuff that you can do now, but it's getting smarter. It learns from your environment, from your tickets, from your interaction with the users, from your internal documents. And best of all, it can interact with end users autonomously. So a user can open a ticket and it'll get answered by AI. It's not just a chatbot. It's not just some kind of routing agent where you just want to give me a human as fast as possible. It can resolve your issues. It's always polite. It's never tired. It doesn't take days off. It's 24/7, and it can actually do stuff. Here's the autonomous part again. It's not just answers about how to do stuff. It can actually do stuff for you. That's the IT Autopilot. So let's do a demo. I'm gonna risk it and do a live demo. So let's hope all works well. I'll transform to my Autopilot. Okay, I think you're seeing my screen. Let me reshare, because I think you're seeing the wrong screen. All right. Okay, great. So this is me as an Atera employee. I'm logging into our portal, right? And let's start with something super simple. Just asking a question on something I need help with. So let's say sometimes it can happen, I'm locked out of the office. How the hell do I get in? And I'm trying to be as close to the actual end user. You feel the frustration. There's typos. It's not well formatted. It's not super clear like what needs to happen. And the Autopilot starts working. Immediately you can see that a ticket is created up here. You see the ticket number. It's created in our ticketing software. It can also work with other ticketing software. It's checking available actions. So here you can see it running on the back end. It's running a bunch of diagnostics, trying to see what did I mean. Did I mean I'm locked out of my account, or am I locked out the door? And again, it immediately said, are you using the Kisi app on your phone to get in, or do you have a key card? How did it know we have a Kisi app, right? It's a sort of app that's used to do access control for physical offices. It knows that because it's been trained on that on our Atera's info. When similar question is asked, the different organization, it will look into the that organization's internal knowledge. Yeah, I guess I have the app. How do I use it? And as expected, it can hold a conversation, it understands the context, and immediately it gives me exactly the instructions on how to use the app in Atera. Okay, nice. This is more, like I said before, this is text in, text out. Yes, it's very relevant and it's very quick and it's contextual to my organization. Let's do something more difficult. Let's do a new chat, and let's say I need to open a PDF file. One of the capabilities of Autopilot is installing software, right? But first, it'll check whether I already have a PDF reader installed. So it's searching my installed software. By the way, this is not a pre-made workflow that we trained it on. It has hundreds of tools, hundreds of actions and diagnostics it can run. It's smart enough to combine them in an intelligent way to solve the problem at hand. So it's not a bunch of workflows that we kind of pre-programmed, and for each new case, each new ticket, you have to kind of write out what exactly you wanted to do. No, you throw a bunch of capabilities at it. We have our own internal AI magic to make it work. And here it is. It says you already have a PDF reader. You don't need anything else. So it won't try to install something which is irrelevant. Okay, but let's try something else. Okay, I also need something that can send HTTP requests over the web. Like that. Very unclear. Let's see if it figures it out. Let me check if you already have a tool for sending HTTP requests like Postman. Again, it's searching installed software. So it's smart enough to understand that Postman is one tool for what I'm looking for. I didn't even know, I wasn't savvy enough to say Postman, as most end users might not be. So it checked, right? You can see its internal thinking process here. You don't currently have any tools like that. And it says, hey, I can install Postman for you. It even gives me a little button. And by the way, A question that you probably want to have right now is, wait, it can install any software on the web? I don't want that, right? We want some security. So no, this pulls from a whitelist of software that you define that are okay for self-serve install, right? So you can see it here under my applications. We have Postman. So it was smart enough to understand my request and see. I also changed my request mid-sentence, mid-ticket, right? The initial ticket was about PDF file access. It's smart enough to figure it out. So could this save some time for IT teams? I think so. But now let's do something more difficult. Let's see if I'll share again my whole screen. Because I want to show you some internal Windows stuff. So I want to connect my Bluetooth headset, right? Let me turn it on. Great. Let's see. I'll intentionally disable it in the device manager just to simulate something going wrong. And then go into chat. See, it's not connecting. Let's say my BT headset connect again. Oh, I wasn't typing, sorry. My BT headset again. Now I'm going to move this screen. This is the device manager. Hope you can see it. And the device is disabled. I disabled it in advance just to simulate this issue. Let's see if it figures it out. By the way, this specific capability we added because personally I was having issues with this headset every day. So let me check the Bluetooth status and see what's causing the connection problem. Again, it's running diagnostics, checking the Bluetooth device status, some basic computer information. Might take a minute. Okay, done with that. It says it has a specific error and checking for available actions. So again, everything is done on the fly. Tomorrow we can add more actions and we don't even have to change the internal reasoning model because it's sort of like if you've seen The Matrix when Neo goes into the Matrix and they just teach him Kung Fu, and I know Kung Fu. That's exactly the same way. Did you see that flicker? And now the device is enabled again. That's Autopilot fixing my Bluetooth issue. Hands off, it did it all by itself. So after executing the action, it's also smart enough to recheck, make sure that it's fine now. See if I try to connect my Razer Opus. Sometimes it takes us a second. Meanwhile, it says it investigated the issue for 79 seconds and just fix it. Yeah, and it's connected. Awesome. I'm not going to switch now because I'm already set up, but it actually works. Demo I wanted to show you guys. So we wanted to talk about password resets. This one is hard to show live because I'd have to log out. Here's a video of what a password reset would look like. Let me see if I can present this. Sorry. Okay. So here we see, I'm not going to do full screen because it seems to be having some issues. We see 3 failed login attempts. Hope you can see this well. A common occurrence. What happens now is that Mike Sawyer gets a text message because we detected, I'll pause here, we detected that he's having trouble logging in. Obviously, this pulls the user's phone information from Active Directory. In this case, it can also work obviously with Okta and Google and other management systems. But if you have this feature enabled, it'll send an instant SMS message to the user. The user needs to click the link. It gets Atera. By the way, this would be branded by your company's branding, obviously, because any reasonable user would be kind of fearful that it might be a phishing attack. They will also get an email, by the way, as well as they get a temporary password and they can log in. So this is one of our more advanced proactive features where the user doesn't even need to open a ticket. But in some case, let's say they don't have the email, their phone set up in Active Directory. There's another way to go around this, because a reasonable question would be, okay, if I can't log into my computer, how would I open an Autopilot chat? So you would do that because we can also use Teams, Slack, WhatsApp, and we're working on more channels. So you could just open your Slack or Teams and write to Autopilot, hey, I seem to be locked out, and it would do that for you. It would open a ticket and reset your password for you. All right, I think we can keep going. So this was a little bit of demo. Yeah, so Autopilot is your 24/7 IT technician. And like I said before, there's hundreds and few hundred diagnostic actions and operational actions that we have now. We're always adding more. And the cool thing is that pretty soon we're going to add a capability for everyone to add their own extensions. We're calling them cloud actions. So for example, if you're working with Mimecast to filter out your emails, you'd be able to use your Mimecast API key and add an action, or we could help you out with professional services to release an email for quarantine. A very common occurrence, right? Mimecast is a popular software for that. Some use RNScale, some use Barracuda. Regardless, each and every organization will be able to add and extend Autopilot using their own internal software, right? Because we know that I don't know if it's 30 or 40% of tickets are about software operation of internal proprietary software. So we're very aware of that. What I showed you is generic issues like Bluetooth. We could show a printer setup. We can show question answering. We showed you password resets. But there's way more. There's a long tail of specific software operational issues that we have no way to predict. But we're adding capabilities for you to extend Autopilot, and it'll be able to solve most of your tickets using those extensions. So it doesn't just respond, it resolves. It's company context aware. One more thing we're adding is, as you saw, it understands I work at Atera. I could use shorthand and our internal jargon and lexicon, and it would know what I'm talking about. If I said I need access to the Q3 R&D deliverables board, it would know I'm in a Monday.com board, because at Atera we use Monday.com. But if you guys use Jira or Asana or some other board solutions, it would know that because it would learn your stuff first. It would catch up to speed. So just like a new employee that's joined your team, you teach them the basics. In the same way you teach Autopilot the basics, and it would know exactly what your people mean without them having to kind of phrase it in a specific way or prompt engineering their questions. No, we want them to talk to Autopilot exactly the way they talk to a human technician. So I mentioned before, you can use various channels, email, our portal that I showed you, Slack, Teams, WhatsApp, and we're adding more. And it's always learning. I'm not going to get into this now, but we have a mechanism that for every new ticket that comes in, after the ticket is closed and resolved, it learns from it, and it gives you insights. So if it sees like 15 tickets about the same topic, it will help you create a KB article, a knowledge-based article, because why do the same thing 15 times? If it sees your technicians logging into the computer, to your users' computers and enabling Wi-Fi 15 times, it'll create a script for you to do that, a custom script. And next time someone has a Wi-Fi issue, Autopilot will just do that for them. So there's always a learning mechanism. As good as it is when you first use it, after 6 months, it's in a completely different place. So I mentioned it can do a bunch of stuff. Like I mentioned, cloud operations, system diagnostics, software can search files. I can find a file, it'll find the file for you. You mentioned reset passwords, analyzing event logs. This is something we do internally to help the AI realize what's happening on the user's PC. Sometimes the user thinks it's about Outlook, but it's about something else entirely, but they see the error surface in Outlook. So it can do deep event log diagnostics to find the root cause. Deleting temporary files to clear up space and make the computer faster. Printer setup, software, lots of printer operations like print spooler, internet speed, network drives, and this is maybe 2% of the things it can do. We're about done with this session. I think we'll have time for a couple of questions. I just want to, this was a very quick overview. In the future, we'll have a bunch of more deep dives, like how it works on the insides, how do you show value, how we demonstrate value, how it's not just how many tickets it solves. Sometimes it helps with the ticket, even if it's not solving it. We'll show you our internal dashboards and how you measure and track Autopilot's activity, how we, in a similar way you would track any other employee, but it also has more deeper analytics for that. How you empower users, because at the end of the day, we're talking about IT technicians and Autopilot, but there's another actor on this stage, which are the end users, and they need to be instructed and taught on what this is and to build some trust and figure out that this is actually helping them and not just wasting their time. What's coming next, what's on our roadmap. So we'll have a bunch of other sessions. This is the first one. I think it's time for Q&A. Kim, are you there?
Yeah, I've saved some questions
I think
for
I can't
you.
hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Or maybe it's my headset. Can you guys hear Kim?
Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. All right, let me share a question for you. Let's see. Okay, this was one that I'm pulling up that I didn't understand, and I was going to follow up afterwards. We'll see if you understand it. If not, then I will follow up. I'm going to share this. Are you using alloys from Zachary?
Alloys? I'm not sure I get it.
Okay, I didn't get it either. Okay, Zachary, we'll get back to you, or maybe if you have any follow-up information, you can share that with us. Okay, so here's another one. Okay, this is an interesting one from an MSP, so let's share this one. So from BEI support, they want to know if this is available for MSPs to individual customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I just wanted to cover the basics of the value of what it does, but behind the scenes, we have a pretty extensive control suite. You'll be able to enable and disable lots of features per customer. So right now, out of the gate, you can enable Autopilot for specific customers, but it's a on-off switch. Either they have it or not. Very, very soon, you'll be able to customize anything, all the stuff I saw. So exactly which software is available for each customer, which KB article is available for each customer. How do you want it to operate? Which custom scripts are available per customer? Custom instructions, the way it learns. So yes, we're working, and pretty soon we'll have the full ability to control it in MSPs. Right now, you can just either turn it off or on per customer.
Great. Okay. And then final question. Let's share this one. This is from Mike. Can you walk through setting up a client and how you add a Teams channel for a client, maybe in a short version of this?
So setting up Autopilot, we do have onboarding managers to help you with that, but it's as simple as just turning it on, right? If you already have Atera, you should have everything you need. Most of our users are using Azure, so it's using that as the IDP. We also have support for Okta and Google. So all your users should be mapped to devices. Again, if you're an Atera user, if not, we'll set it up as any Atera customer. And to set up Teams, it's pretty simple. We have a Teams chatbot. You add it from the Teams app store. We're registered as a Teams app. And on the back end, like in the Atera settings, in the Autopilot settings, you just connect your tenant with your organization, and from that moment you can just chat. I don't want to get into that specifics right now, but if you're an Atera customer, your CS manager can help you with that. And if you're just interested, definitely jump on a call with a representative, and they'll show you all of that. It's pretty simple. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there are some other questions that I'm going to follow up with afterwards. And definitely, if you're already a customer of ours, feel free also to reach out to your account manager, your customer success manager, if you want to discuss more about adding this feature.
I do want to answer. I see one interesting question in the chat from Lance. So Lance says the first example of opening PDF. If I tell a user that they already have an Adobe installed, that doesn't help them get the PDF open. Very, very correct. So just because technically it's there doesn't mean the end user got all they need to solve it. Yes, we absolutely realize that. So one of the operations that Autopilot has is associating, extensions with files. For me, it was already associated, so it didn't do that. But if it sees that there is a PDF reader installed, but it's not associated, it will suggest that. It might even do that without suggestion. I think it will suggest that and let the user okay. One of the things we are always fine-tuning is how much autonomy it has versus how much choice it gives to the user, and that differs a lot. So some users are extremely non-technical; they just want the problem to go away, and some users want control, and so that's something we're working on to let you fine-tune exactly how you want your Autopilot to work. But yes, definitely, just because it's installed doesn't mean the user knows how to use it. If you notice, it did explain exactly how to open how to use Adobe PDF Reader to open it. But we're always adding operations. So one thing we will add here is having Autopilot open the software for you. We don't have that yet, but that's something which is on our roadmap. So I just like that observation from Lance, because just because it's there doesn't mean the user knows how to use it.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, we're almost at the end of our session. And before we sign off, I have one final quick request. Your feedback is so valuable to us, and it helps ensure that these webinars are as beneficial to you as possible. So I'm going to launch the survey. And all right, so that's been launched for everyone. So please take a moment to answer that before we finish up. And we just want to make sure you are always getting the most value from these. So thank you so much. And like I said, I will be following up to answer the rest of your questions for whomever I didn't answer from. And Zachary, I did see that you followed up, so I'll get back to you.
And I see Mike Hobbs ask whether we can change the name. Yeah, you answered. Yes, we definitely can change the name.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty cute names from people naming their AI, and you can be really creative. Whatever you think will make your end users happy when they're chatting, they're at their most frustrated. If it's something like a mascot of your company or whatever you'd like. Okay, and I think that wraps it up for us.
Great, thank you guys. I hope this was useful. Obviously, I'd love to hear any feedback, like Kim said, and see you in the next webinars. We'll be diving into real specifics, like how do you set it up, how do you monitor it, how do you control it, how do you make sure it's safe, how end users are onboarded on it, and many other issues, and what's coming up next, what kind of other capabilities and integrations we're working on. There's a lot.
Absolutely. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. This is terrific. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.